Good morning, students. Welcome back to the course of software testing methodologies. Today in this lecture, let us discuss about path instrumentation. This video is brought to you by Newton's Group of Institutions, Macharla. This is Arvind Egireddy from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. What is path instrumentation? Path instrumentation is what we have to do to confirm that the outcome that is being achieved by the intended path. So here it will have the output of a test, which are nothing but they are the results that are being observed, but they may or may not be any expected outputs for that particular test. And here the outcome will be any changes or the lack of changes at that particular output. And the expected output, so here any expected changes or the lack of changes at that particular output, we call them as expected output. And action outcome. So action outcomes are nothing but they are the observed outcomes. So here, let us see what is coincidental correctness. So here the coincidental correctness that stands for achieving the desired outcome for the wrong reason. Since the test outcome is considered as part of the design process and the test is made to run for comparing the actual outcomes with the desired outcome. And even if the desired outcome which is equal to the actual outcome, only some of the conditions are satisfied by the test or which may not be sufficient enough. So this type of condition, what we are going to name as conditional correctness. And simply it can be defined as a condition in which we check whether the expected outcome of a test is generated truly or not. So for instance, the coincidental correctness can be represented like this. So let us consider an input variable x, and here the initial value we are taking it as 16, and which produces a single outcome y is equal to 2. So here the y value will be 2. So here this case also it will be 2, even at this case it will be 2, even at this case it will be 2. So whatever the case we select, the y value will be 2 for x is equal to 16. So this is coincidentally we are taking the variable x value as 16, or coincidentally it is happening that for x is equal to 16 all these are getting the y value as a 2. So therefore the test that's what we are choosing this way will not tell us whether we have achieved the coverage or not. So in this case, maybe coincidentally it has become correct. So for example, here we can see the 5 cases that could be totally jumbling and still the outcome would be the same. So here path instrumentation is what we have to do to confirm that the outcome was being achieved by the independent path. So here let us see that path instrumentation. So here path instrumentation, which is a technique. So path instrumentation is a general strategy what we are going to use. So here path instrumentation, which is a technique that is being used for identifying whether the outcome of a test is achieved through the desired path or through the wrong path. So here the interpretive trace program is the one that is going to execute the statements. So here we are going to execute every statement in order, and we record the intermediate values of all these calculations and the statement labels that are being traversed. So if we run the test routine under any trace, then we have all the information what we need to confirm whether that particular outcome, or furthermore to confirm that it was achieved by the intended path or not. So here the trouble with trace is they give us far more information than what we need. So in fact, this typical trace program that provides so much of information that conforms to the path from its massive output dump, which is more work, which will have more work than simulating the computer by hand so that to confirm the path. Now, what is a traversal marker or link marker? So here a simple and effective form of instrumentation is what we call it as an traversal marker or link marker. A simple and effective form of instrumentation. That is what we call as a, or that is being called as traversal marker or link marker. So we have to name every link by using lowercase letters. Here we instrument the links so that the link name is recorded when the link is executed. So we have to record the links. Okay, then and the succession of these letters that are going to produce that is being produced is going from the routines at the entry to its exit, and this should confirm that there are no bugs or exactly correspond that may correspond to the path name. So here let us see this simple path, simple link marker instrumentation. So this single link marker that may not serve the purpose, because there is every possibility of bug which may result in a new link in the middle of the link that is being traversed. So why the single link markers, they are not enough? Unfortunately, a single link marker may not do the trick because links can be chewed by open bugs. So here we intend to traverse the IKM path. So here we are going to IKM path, what we intend to choose. But because here, because of the ramping go to in the middle of the M link, we may go to the process D. So if coincidental correctness is against us, then the outcome will be the same and we won't know about the bug. Because see, here, even then we are where we are going here only. So the outcome is correct, but we don't know that there was a bug here. So instead of going like this, where we went through process B. So here the problem is processing in the links may be chewed open by bugs, and it is possible due to the go-to statements or the controls takes a different path at resulting the intended path again. So we are getting the result, correct result. But the go-to statements or the control may take the different path and give the correct result. How coincidental. So at that point of time, we will not be in a position to find out the bug, identify the bug. So this is the problem. So here the solution for this is we have to use a two link marker method, double link marker instrumentation method. So here the solution of the problem of a single link marker method is to implement two markers per the link, one at the beginning of each link and one at the end. So here the two link marker now specify the path name, and it is going to confirm both at the beginning and end of the link. So the problem is solved. So here the two link markers, they specify the path name at both the beginning and end of the link. That is the reason we are able to solve the problem what we faced in a single link marker method. Now let us see the link counter. So link counter technique. So here the link counter is one of the instrumentation technique which is basically or which is based on the concept of counters. That's why we call it as a link counter. So a less disruptive instrument method which is based on counters. So here, instead of unique link name to be pushed into the string, when the link is being traversed, what we do is we simply increment the counter. And we now confirm that the path length is as expected, and the same problem that leads us to the double link marker, which also leads us to the double link counters. So here the checklist for this particular procedures is we have to begin or we have to do begin link counter values equal to the end link counter values. Okay, and we have to see whether does the input link counter of every decision which is equal to the sum of the link counts of the output links for that particular decision or not. And we have to see whether do the sum of the input link counts for a junction which is equal to the output link count for that particular junction or not. Do the total counts match the values we predicted when we designed the coverage test set or not. So this procedure and the checklist that could solve the problem of instrumentation. So this is the procedure what we have to use, and this procedure could solve the problem of things. So here even then we have certain limitations. Here in the instrumentation problem, marker and counter may disturb the timing relations and they may hide the raising conditional bugs. So here in the instrumentation problem, one more limitation is these markers and counters may not detect the location that is dependent, location of the dependent bugs. So here in the presence or absence of probes that are being modified, for example, in the database by using a faulty way, then these probes that can be hidden. So they are going to hide the bug in the program. So how we can use this path instrumentation? How we can implement? So here we can use by using these techniques. One is for high level testing and for testing an unsupported language. So we can use this for high level testing or for testing an unsupported language. So here introduction of the probes could introduce the bugs, and instrumentation is more important for high level of program structures like transaction flows. So here at higher levels, the disturbances in the structure are more possible and the overhead of the instrumentation may be less. And where we can implement this is for languages that are going to support conditional assembly and compilation. So for languages that support conditional assembly or compilation, here what we do is the probes that are written in the source code and they are being tagged with the categories, or they can be tagged into the categories. And here the counters and traversal markers can be implemented, and we can selectively activate the desired probes. And where we can use means for languages that are not going to support the conditional or assembly compilation also we are going to use. So for languages that support conditional assembly or compilation we will be using, and we also use in languages that does not support conditional and assembly compilations. How? By using macros or by using functional calls for each and every category of the probe. So this may have less bugs, and the general purpose routines easily we can write. So here in general, plan instrumentation with the probes that is going to at different levels that is going to get increased in detail. So this is the concepts that are related to path instrumentation. Okay, so I hope you understood the concept of predicate, path predicates and achievable paths, and what is path sensitization, and what are the different heuristic procedures for path sensitization, and what is also path instrumentation. So please see all the videos related to the concepts of predicate, path predicates and achievable paths, and path sensitization. I will provide the links in the link in the description box. So if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for the latest notifications. Thank you, Ananda.